when you said that, you got the international aspect, the cross-cultural aspect, family. Well, while we were at the center, my friends, they spent 14 years I'm not here. They had a similar.
Good morning, Rotary Club of Centennial. Tom, do you have our pledge?
Yes, I can do this. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Kathy Jansky, Inspiration?
I'm here.
Yep.
Are you inspired?
I'm always.
Throughout the ages, people have searched for the precise alchemy of ingredients that constitute great leadership. In measured proportions, great leaders are said to demonstrate bold but reasoned judgment, spirited but calculated risk-taking, and an assertive but reflective disposition. Complicating the matter are the expectations and the needs of those being led. Followers want leaders who make decisions decisively but inclusively, interpret situations with rational and emotional intelligence, and exude confidence and humility. The list of characteristics that compromise great leadership is so long and contradictory that aspiring leader is left to ask, where on earth do I start? Fortunately, there is a clear starting point. One leadership characteristic, or more accurately virtue, informs and strengthens all others: courage. Aristotle called courage the first virtue because it makes all of the other virtues possible. In addition to being the most important human virtue, it's the most important business virtue as well. Think about it. Other important business concepts like leadership, innovation, and sales wither in the absence of courage. Leadership takes making bold and often unpopular decisions. Leadership takes courage. Innovation involves creating groundbreaking but tradition-defying ideas. Innovation takes courage. Sales requires being repeatedly rejected before closing a deal. Sales takes courage. Take away courage and sales, innovation, and leadership lose their potency. Contrary to popular belief, courage is a teachable and learnable skill, and most everyone has the capacity to be courageous. Moreover, nearly all courageous acts represent one or more of the three types of courage. Try courage, the courage of initiative and action, making first attempts, pursuing pioneering efforts, and stepping up to the plate. Trust courage, the courage of confidence in others, letting go of the need to control situations or outcomes, having faith in people and being open to direction and change. Try courage, the courage of voice, raising difficult issues, providing tough feedback, and sharing unpopular opinions.
Thank you, Kathy. Will you please take your seats? Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah, okay. I know that we had some people outside, so if you guys want to go ahead and come in. Welcome, everyone. You have some new faces? So we did not have a Rotary Minute, but now we do. Oh, it wasn't on my list. So never mind, John. We'll do that next week.
So for those of you who don't know, there's something called Rotary Fellowships. Rotary Fellowship consists of members who share a common interest in recreational activities, sports, hobbies, or professions. These groups help expand skills, foster vocational development, and enhance the Rotary experience by exploring interests while developing connections around the world. The overview says they help participants make lasting friendships outside their own club, district, or country. They advance Rotary's public image and identity, and they serve as an incentive for joining Rotary and for maintaining active membership. So these are organizations that are, kind of worldwide, but there's a whole list that are different fellowships, and if you don't see something that you like, you can always start your own fellowship. But there's things like 4x4s, magicians, bowling, canoeing, chess, computer users, quilters, photographers, music, cruising. There's, of course, wine, ethics, Russian culture. I mean, there's a whole huge list of different fellowships that you could consider joining. And you just go to rotary.org/fellowships to check it out.
Is anyone already in a fellowship? Can you give us your experience with that? Photography.
I haven't found it to be very beneficial, but it is interesting seeing some of the comments.
Randy, any?
Yeah, just chess. I'm like Don, though. I don't find it very engaging anytime I've been on it.
Okay. Well, I'm sure like the travel one would be different.
Yeah.
So who knows? But it's a good way to connect with other Rotarians through Rotary International. So business minute, Trip. Thank you, Karen.
Good morning. It's been about 5 minutes since we talked about the kitchen and bath business, so I thought I would take this opportunity to remind everyone that I am a kitchen and bath designer. My specific business is Design First Kitchen and Bath, and I work out of a showroom in Littleton called Sander & Son. So if you are in that market, and it's a busy time, so I suspect there are somebody. If you are not, I would love to show you around the showroom and take a hard look at your kitchen, your baths, maybe your basement, maybe your any part of your home that's could benefit from some fine cabinetry. It'd be my pleasure. Plus, I like to think I'm somewhat of a learned fellow in the subject, and if you just have regular questions, it would be my pleasure to help you muddle through it. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Trip.
Samantha?
Yes.
I have a question about fellowships. How do we find out where they are and who to contact?
Karen?
Go to rotary.org.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's through Rotary International. So
Rotary Fellowships, I can do that.
So I just want to thank you to everyone who helped today. Tom Buck for setup, John Wexler for greeter, Kathy Jansky, and Tom Gross for inspiration and your pledge. Thank you so much. And then Doug, we thank you for taking down, and anyone else who's been part of it. So I know we usually have more than just one greeter, so thank you for everyone that helps really make everyone feel welcome here. Do we have any visiting Rotarians today?
Greg is here.
Grace. I know, I've been seeing him a little more often, so I didn't want to call him out on that. And I know we have, other than our speaker, I see that we have a few guests. Deb, did you want to introduce them, or?
Not really. No. I'm so glad he came. This is Will Kelly, and John Barry gave me his name and telephone number, and Will is with the Avalanche, and we're going to do some fundraising together.
Nice.
There we go. I guess I'll stand like the rest of you guys, but thank you very much for letting me stop by and join. As Deb mentioned, my name is Will Kelly, and I work with the Colorado Avalanche. I spoke with Deb a little over a week ago, and we spoke for about 40 minutes, and I could tell right away I was talking to the right person. She was pretty gung-ho about, fundraising and everything she has her hand in, so I was pretty excited to connect with her. And just a little bit of background as to why I reached out to you guys. I work with the Colorado Avalanche, working with nonprofits, businesses here in the area, helping them organize outings, and with nonprofits, specifically fundraisers on single games, helping you guys raise awareness or raise money for your various causes. And then why Rotary, you're probably asking. I used to work for the Red Sox in Boston and saw involvement with the Rotary Club out there. And then in college in North Carolina and back home where I'm from, I saw the Rotary organizations have a pretty positive impact in those communities. So I'm a little unfamiliar about the work you guys do out here. I'm not from Colorado. I'm an East Coaster. But after talking to Deb, it seemed like a pretty clear partnership that hopefully we can help you guys raise some money and catch some Avs games and have some fun here this season. So really all I want to do is just come out, introduce myself. I think I may have lost the mic. Come out and introduce myself and just say hello, put a face to the name, and answer any questions you guys might have, and hopefully build a partnership moving forward.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome, Will. And you never know, maybe you'll become a member.
Andy bought peaches.
Hey, all right, fabulous. Ann?
That's right.
Ann, go ahead.
All right. I have my niece. This is Katrina Shirley. Katrina is an international person. She currently lives in Zhuhai, China. I don't see Jay. He would know who that is, which is just north of Macau and across the bay from Hong Kong. And they've been there a year. She and her husband are teachers at a nonprofit school. And this is their third assignment. The second one was in Italy, and we really enjoyed visiting there. And the first one was in Kazakhstan, which happened to be my daughter's home country. So I said, you want to go to Rotary? What's Rotary? Well, now she's finding out.
Perfect. Well, welcome both. Did we have any other guests? All right. And we'll introduce the speaker a little later. So today's birthday is Scott DeWitt. So, as customary, if you have a birthday on the Tuesday we meet, happy birthday is in order. All right? Did you know that was customary? I'm just telling you, it is now during this year. So, ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Scott. Happy birthday to you. And many more. All right. This is why you know I am not a singer, especially without music in the background. So, yay, Scott. That's the only birthday, or there's no anniversaries this week. So moving on to some club business. We have peach sales. How is everyone doing on peach sales? I have sold twice as many boxes as I did last year. Now, granted, that's only 6, but that's still twice as many as last year. So, Ann.
I got a big surprise in the mail from someone who had purchased last year, and she has sent me over $200 for pizzas.
Wow.
Yeah, wow is right. I think she talks to all her friends, and then she sent them.
That's awesome. Do we have any other surprises or any other stories? Deb.
Keep in mind that we still are offering an incentive.
Yes, thank you.
Besides Samantha, who's outdone herself already this year.
I know, I'm over the moon.
And myself are excluded, but you will be getting a nice surprise if you sell the most boxes. And it's going to be a healthy one. So get out there and sell.
How many of the
I'm sorry?
How many boxes of peaches have you had?
He's bought a half, except that I get to meet Joe Sakic. So I'm going to work on the whole Avalanche team.
That's perfect.
You do now.
All right, so who has already sold more than they did last year? Okay, so money, hey, That's, I know we laugh about it, but even one additional box, no matter what you did last year, if it was 0, if it was 1, if it was 3, one additional box, that just helps us so much more, because look at what we do every single week with Prime Timers, with Meals on Wheels. We're having, the food drive coming up. There's so many things we do, and this is what the money is for. So remember, it's not just selling peaches. There's a reason why we do it, and it's really to make a difference in our community. So that's my inspiring words for the day about peach sales. Anything else?
I just sold a box.
Hey, that's awesome. John? John's on 5. So remember, money orders have to be in by the 19th of August. John?
Can I have 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, Mark? So, grab a microphone. Grab a mic. So anyway, as you all know, Mark and I have done Water Rico, and we're coming along. So today, we have an announcement for you. If I can get it to work. All right, the fireworks goes off, and here's what we have. Are you ready? Yes. Maybe, maybe not.
It's the anticipation.
Oh, man. I had a hard time this morning with this. All right, the anticipation is mounting.
It's hanging on the gauge, John. The anticipation gauge is hanging.
Oh. Ready? The grant was approved. It's Mark, go ahead and tell them about what we found out about that.
Okay, so we got the global grant. The club's first global grant has now been officially approved. It encompasses $80,500. Our club's original contribution was $10,000, but we are 78% under budget. We are only having to put in $2,200 for 4,000 recipients, so it comes to our investment 55 cents per person. We got a gifted grant from the Murray Foundation for $35,000. And we had our investment in 7 other clubs were matched twice, as you know how it works with the district and then the RI. So we're really excited, and we have a date scheduled for this?
We do. This, by the way, we were told that this is one of the fastest grants that's ever been approved in the district. So a lot of that goes to Mark. So here's the deal. September 7th to the 16th, we're going down there, and we want you all to join us. Everybody that wants to go. You have to pay your own airfare and your own lodging, but it's pretty reasonable. You can get down there very inexpensively, and here's what it's all about. So you get 10 days to build 1,200 filters, and on top of that, what do you get? You get to spend 10 days with Mark and I.
That is a selling point, right?
Well, I thought we were trying to sell this, okay?
So, any questions? Agua Dia. Okay.
That's the name of the airport.
We've already got some people that have signed up on airline tickets for $212. So round trip. So it's not terribly expensive to get down there.
And we're working on lodging right now. We're the Mocha Club, that's the name of the city that we're going to be. The Mocha Rotary Club is trying to get a really good rate at a hotel nearby. So.
Any other questions? So how many people would be interested in this? All right, well, next week we'll pass around a sheet so you can write down if you'd like to go, you're thinking of going, or you have interest in it, okay? So anyway, that's the story this week, and here we go.
That is phenomenal work that these gentlemen and everyone that has supported them in this club. Thank you. It's not just them that receive the grant, it's us because we've been supporting them and helping them through this, but phenomenal work, gentlemen, and we're excited to support you even more. And if there are people out there that want to go, but funding is the problem, let's get together and find ways to fundraise for your trip. We can't do it through the club or the foundation, but there are ways to raise funds other ways. So just let me know if you're interested in help with that, and I can help with that. So, all right, kind of moving on with some business. Our opioid medication take back is on Saturday. Tom, did you have anything for that, or?
Yeah, so that's Saturday morning at Heritage Eagle Bend, and that is any type of prescription drugs, expired medication. I have flyers if you're interested. There are a few exclusions. They cannot take chemotherapy drugs and needles and things like that, but it's a broad-based collection of unused or unneeded or unwanted medication that needs to be taken out of the house and properly disposed of. So that'll be Saturday from 9:30 to 11:30 at Heritage Eagle Bend. And Arapahoe County Sheriff's Department handles the taking care of the medication and disposing of it properly.
Yeah, so let all your neighbors know. You know, if they have some extra medication. A lot of times, I know for me, if I get changed medications, I have leftover medication. So just bring those in. It's something that really helps in taking things off the street that don't need to be on there. So one of the most likely ways for people to obtain these kinds of drugs is through the medication cabinet in someone's house. And so if we get them out because it's something that's not being used, then that's one step towards not having them out there. So thank you, Tom.
I'll make one up.
Sure.
Okay.
Over-the-counter drugs also.
Okay.
It's a drive-through.
So
it's a drive-through drug.
It's an anonymous drive-through drop-off. I had one other thing while I'm standing up here.
Sure.
The speaker on August 6th is not tentative, that he is confirmed, Ron Clausen. Friends of Castlewood Canyon, that's where the dam collapsed that led to the flood of Denver, that led to Cherry Creek Reservoir. It's actually very interesting. They're having their dam day this Saturday, so he asked me to invite everybody if you want to go down to the park and learn more about it, but he'll be here Tuesday morning to share with you the history of the canyon and the dam failure.
Fabulous. Diana?
Tom, are we also doing paper shredding at the drug take back? I thought I heard somewhere that we could bring out papers to be shredded.
So we are not directly involved in that, but the person I'm working with at Heritage Eagle Bend had told me they were going to coordinate a shredding event with it. And that is my understanding. So we'll be coordinating and setting up the drug take back, and I think they will partner that with a shredding event out there.
Great. Thank you. Diana, since you have the mic, do you want to go ahead and talk about grant training as well as state of our city?
Sure. Aloha, my friends. How's everybody doing? So I want to start with Kathy. Thank you so much for that invocation about courage. I'm looking for a Rotarian who will be courageous with me. I am looking for a Rotarian who will attend a webinar on grants training. And as you heard from Mark and John, congratulations, by the way, on that grant. We need to be qualified for these grants, and so the district offers a training. I think we are already qualified for training for this year, but in the next year, we need to be qualified as well. Okay. There is a training that's being offered on August 15th. It's free of charge, and you can do it from the comfort of your home. So I am participating in that, and I'm looking for one other Rotarian to join me in that. Do I see any takers?
What day of the week is that?
Thursday. It's a Thursday. And you got to be quick around this woman right here. So, all right, beautiful. I will send you the link, and if you can get registered, you and I will participate in the link.
Yeah, and if it doesn't just mean one person, if other people are interested,
Are you
just let
interested,
us know.
Kathy?
Yeah.
I want to say it is in the evening. Hang on one second.
5:30 to 7:30.
See what I'm... 5:30 to 7:30. I'll send you the link, okay? So we have 2 people participating.
Because the more we know, the better off we are as far as getting grants and having those people trained. So, State of our city?
Beautiful. As you guys know, I am chairing the State of our city for 2020, and I like to get an early start because this year I'm looking for us to also be courageous as we plan for the state of the city. We have a date already selected that is Wednesday, April 15th. Tax day. It's tax day. Everybody.
Taxes should already be done.
There you go. Absolutely. And we are not using that as an excuse for anyone. So what we are looking at doing right now, we are negotiating on whether or not this is going to be a luncheon, as it has been in the past, or if we're going to change the format to a breakfast format. We have heard that it would be better off for our sponsors if they were able to get in, get their breakfast, get out. So, of course, there are a lot of moving parts with being able to make that happen, but if we can do it, that's what we're going to do. It may also involve a change in venue. Don't know what that's going to look like, but we're starting the planning process early with that as well. I'm looking at a theme for this club, since it is going to be the year 2020, of 20/20 vision. I think that's very appropriate, and I'm hoping that the city will want to pick up on that theme as well, but I'm working with them right now. I'm also looking for courageous people to step up and volunteer with me for this event. I'm looking for some people who will work publicity. I think we need to get a story, at least in the Centennial newspaper. I think this is also going to be a critical year for Rotary. My understanding this is going to be our 20th anniversary as well?
No.
10? No, it's
19.
Okay, I'm going with pre-party. We're doing
pre-party. We're going with pre-party.
We'll have a pre-party, a party, and then a post-party.
There we go.
So there you go. So I'm looking for publicity around the event, but I'm also looking for people to help with sponsorships. One of the things I know that we don't have is good information on all of our sponsors from the previous 15 years. I would like in the next couple of weeks to take maybe 5 or 10 minutes to pick the brains of those Rotarians who have been in the club for a long time and see if we can reconstruct a timeline of all the sponsors that we've had over the last 15 years to see if we can get them re-engaged. Yeah. Oh, well, I have. No, it's not in Dropbox. I've looked. It's not there. But if you can help. Okay, so I do not need a committee for that. I have a committee of one right here.
Task force.
Ask and you shall receive.
That's right.
Okay, so that's where I am on that. And if there's anyone who's interested in going out and recruiting sponsors after we've identified them and looking for new sponsors as well. New sponsors are going to be the key. So that's all I've got. See me after the meeting. I'm happy to put Rotarians to work. Thank you.
Perfect. Karen, social committee?
Sure. So the social committee consists of myself, Mary Alice, Ann, Cheryl, Karen Fleck, Scott, and Tripp's wife, Sherry. And we're working on getting some things scheduled. You'll see on the back of the bulletin, we've got quite a few things in the works. But we also want to encourage all of the members to get things on the calendar for social activities for us to enjoy with each other. So we encourage you to think of things that you might want to share with the other Rotarians. It's going to be pretty easy. You just need to let John Peterson know about an event, and he'll get it posted on the calendar on the website. You can even do sign-ups through the website, so it's really easy. If there involves tickets for an event, you can work with Barb to get payment for the tickets, and then she can charge people through dues. So you're not going to be out a bunch of money. So it's really easy. So we want to encourage everybody to maybe think of 1 or 2 events a year that they could post for a social activity. And we also want to get involvement with spouses and families. So, maybe take the bulletin, take it home every week, share it with your spouse, because they might be interested in activities even if you aren't. We'd like both of you to join us, but, let them know what's going on, because we want to get to know your families. So let them know about that. 2 events that we have kind of nailed down. One is called Ribs and Racing, and guess who's sponsoring that one? Me. So that one's on Saturday, August 24th. We're going to do dinners at Famous Dave's in North Glen at 5 o'clock, and then head over to the Colorado National Speedway. In case you didn't know, we do have a NASCAR Speedway here in Denver area. Yeah. So it's up north, kind of near Firestone. Is that where it's near? Dacona. But that night, it's the Famous Dave's Rocky Mountain Rumble. It's going to include Pro Truck, Late Model, Super Stock, and if you have never seen figure 8 racing, you're in for a treat. It is really exciting and really fun to watch. They do it in a figure 8, and as people are crossing, they're going to run into other people. I mean, it's really fun to watch. It's a really...
Crashes, yes.
They don't crash, but it looks like they're going to. It's really exciting. But it's really inexpensive. I think the tickets are only like $14. So it's really inexpensive. It's a fun family activity, so we hope you will join us for that. You can either buy tickets online ahead of time, or you can just wait until that evening and get them there at the track. So it is on the calendar now. Thank you, John, for putting that on the website. I would like to get sign-ups just so that I know who's going to join for dinner, so that I can try to make a reservation for dinner. So look for that. Another thing that we kind of have nailed down is on Sunday, December 8th, at the Pace Center in Parker. If any of you haven't been to the Pace Center, they have some wonderful events there. Mary Alice is looking at doing a classic Parker holiday, which will include the Parker Symphony and the Parker Chorale that Vern is part of. So we'd like to support him on that, and Mary Alice will tell you a little bit more.
Well, the little bit more is that we need to reserve our tickets on Thursday. That number does not have to be exact, but it needs to be fairly close. So I would kind of like to just get a show of hands of those of you that think you might be going. December the 8th, it's Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And if you've been to that concert before, it's fabulous. It's the symphony is with the Parker Chorale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. December.
What day of the week?
You don't have to pay for tickets until November, about a month ahead of time. But I need to know how many to reserve.
Yep.
So could I see your hands again? 1, 6. Oh, 7. Okay, thank you.
All right. Karen Fleck, do you want to talk about our food drive coming up?
Yes, our food drive is coming up on August 10th, Saturday, August 10th, at the King Supers on Parker and Arapahoe. And we still need a few volunteers to sign up. A few shifts are a little bit light. And I know we're in competition that day with Centennial Under the Stars, but this is early in the day, so hopefully we can get people out there to sign up. So August 10th, go to the calendar and sign up for a shift.
Yeah, and if you haven't been to one of the food drives, it's a really easy way to really see how the community comes out and supports people in our community with food, and also a good place to get to know your fellow Rotarian. Spend a lot of time chit-chatting in between people bringing in food. So thank you, Karen, for organizing that. Any other business before moving on to Happy Bucks? Oh, Doug, thank you.
How about travel gifts?
Yeah, that comes after business.
Well, I am down to the last 2 orphan Rotary shirts. I have a large for men and a large for women. So if you ordered one of those and haven't picked it up yet, see me after the meeting. Also, if you ordered a shirt like Diana did and haven't received it, let me know and we'll fix it. So thank you.
Roxy, do you have a travel gift?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
As I told you last week, I went to the
Microphone, can't hear
I
you.
can't hear you. I'm getting my microphone. Thank you.
When I went to the 50th anniversary party of the Apollo 11, I traveled clear to Wings Over the Rockies, and I bought back a gift. And it's a really cool jacket.
Wow, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. So for those who do not know, we use the travel gifts and we put them on auction for a fundraiser during our holiday fundraiser. Does anyone else have travel gifts? No? So Ann West is Happy Bucks, but she is currently detained in the restroom, so I'll make a different announcement while she's there. So I received some information. Yes, that was recorded too, right? So the Rotary Club of Denver, and I believe it's Westminster, I can't remember the other partner, they are partnering with MSU in order to do an entrepreneur's, sessions. So it's a 10-week course, 3 hours a week from on Wednesday, starting I believe it was September 18th. So it goes 10 weeks. It's a free course. And so if you know any entrepreneurs that are interested in taking some business courses, let me know. There's an application that's due August 18th. And it's something, apparently it's actually started by a Rotary Club out in Chicago, and it has since now come to Denver. And so it's a way for Rotary to really support the entrepreneurs in Denver. So if you know anyone or if you yourself are interested, let me know and I can forward you the information on that. So, Ann?
Okay.
Happy Bucks.
Happy Bucks. Thank you. It turns out that I happen to like this volunteer, so you'll see me doing this fairly frequently. Happy Bucks. Let's start with my table. Who's happy here?
I'm happy. I have 3. The first one is for all our guests. Thank you for being with us. Really, really nice to have you. The second one is for Mark and John. Even though they didn't talk a lot about what it means to get a global grant, it is a big deal. You don't imagine how many hoops they had to jump through to get it done. And even though we had international grants before, the global grants are like on steroids. So really, really difficult. So thank you for your perseverance. And Kathy talked about courage. It really took a lot of courage to keep going at it and not get discouraged with the setbacks. So thank you, guys. And the last one, we're getting into a new, something new for us in our lives. My son, my oldest son is going to be a sophomore this year. And he's already starting to get letters from colleges and university. He's got like 10 already. So I was like, I didn't know it started this soon.
What a surprise. Did you have something?
I'm just grateful. Karen's Ribs and Racing, I think, might help
draw something out in our family.
Anybody else on this table? Here we go.
I am just extremely happy that we finally got this grant done. We've been waiting on pins and needles for really 2 months, waiting for the final approval and everything. And like Andrew said, it's a lot of hoops to jump through. It's a lot of back and forth between the people who approved the grant, and getting it done is just a milestone. So very happy to have that done.
Happy 5. Happy that Will is here, and looking forward to partnering up with Avalanche and getting some fun fundraisers going. Also, congratulations to John and Mark. I've written 4 grants and got them all accepted, but I've been turned down to do a global grant for Guitars for the Troops. So I will be writing another grant this year with the help of this club and going to different clubs. The third thing I'm really happy about is last week, after the meeting, I think it was on Thursday, I talked with the district governor of Nashville, Tennessee, and they are going to be partnering with Gordon and I to help reach our goals for Guitars for the Troops. So I'm ecstatic.
Thank you. Yeah, just going off Deb, I'm happy to be here today. I just want to say thank you for letting me stop by. I know I'm a visitor, and just give me a chance to learn a little bit more about your guys' organization. It means a lot. I've wanted to, partner with Rotary for a while, so just sitting here today and hearing a little bit more about your guys' mission and work is exciting to me and makes my job enjoyable. So thank you.
Now you have to join.
We don't mince words here.
Over here, over here.
I'm just happy for Mark and John and for the great work that they've done to bring recognition for the club and also to bring water to Water Rico. Congratulations.
I've got 2. One is for Mark and John. Congratulations and good work. I wish I could join you, but I don't have any vacation time from work. So unless I win the lotto between now and then or something, I can quit my job. Second is for Will joining us from the Avalanche. I'm really excited to see what we can do with you. My husband and I are big sports fans. I'm mostly NASCAR, but we love to go to Avalanche games occasionally, so we're excited to see that.
Thank you.
So first of all, congratulations, Mark and John. I think that really is outstanding. That's a pre-buck right there. $1 for my 30. I went to my 30th high school reunion, which I understand for a lot of folks here, it's not many. But the fact is that I couldn't believe how many old people were there, and how well. Thank the Lord I fared in life, but it was actually really a good time, and got back to my hometown. And then my other buck is, and did our former mayor leave already? Mm-hmm. I hit every green light again, 2 weeks in a row, coming from Holly all the way through whatever the last little corner is over here. Every green light. So whatever Centennial has done with their smart grid, if you leave before the traffic, man, you can just hit that. So.
We tried, but didn't make it. All right, I'm all the way back here. All right.
I have one. Thank you, Centennial Rotary, for all your support, and John Peterson, what a great partner you are. Thank you.
Yep. All right. We'll hit over here.
First one is for Mark and John. Congratulations. That's really awesome. And I know how much work you've put into it. And the second buck is that I survived my daughter moving into my house. But that's only the beginning, so we'll see how it goes. And the third buck is it's Tuesday, I'm at Rotary.
That's right. There we go. And she organizes, as you probably know, Ready, Set, School, which went off really well this year.
I have 2 to John and Mark, and most importantly, coming in under budget. That's pretty impressive. And belated thank you, John, for your presentation last week on Madagascar. It's very well done.
Okay. I'll have to go this. Oh, I'll catch you, Barbara.
So I have two. One is for John and Mark. Congratulations. And the other one is last week I went to Michigan to see my family. I found out I have another cousin that knows you, Ashley Procell. Yes. So anyway, I had a great time. I went out to the pier. The lake is high. I have a beautiful picture of the waves. I was playing in the water on the pier. So it was fun. Yeah. On the pier.
All right. Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. All right, Cheryl.
I need an IOU, please, for $3. The first is for John and for Mark. Congratulations. I'm just so excited for you. The second one is for our speaker, and I am so grateful because our speaker that we were supposed to have today, her mother died. And so yesterday I was scrambling, and so I really appreciate the fact that Penny was available to come today. And then the third one is please check your mailboxes this week because you'll be getting a letter from me regarding the trip where I'll be representing you guys to Mansouriya, Lebanon, where I'll be building a playground for the children who attend the school there as well as the orphans.
All right, Tim.
Yes, I was just thinking about how much work Mark and John put into that global grant, and that's what I feel happy about. Thank you.
I have $1 here. This is for Mark and John. Congratulations. That's hard work.
I have two, one for Mark and John. Thank you for all your hard work, and I wish I would join you, except I'm going to Europe, and your trip overlaps with my Europe trip. So, and then number two is because it's Tuesday, this is Rotary, and tomorrow I embark on another camping trip. So, looking forward to that.
Camping. Good morning. I have three. Mark and Sean, what an incredible project, and the persistence and the amount of work. It's very, very impressive. Karen Berry, thanks for organizing the social committee, getting that off the ground. Great work. And I want to thank Roxy for her Ready, Set, School campaign and how well you guys, and I think Barb helps you too, get it organized. She's on the committee. Very, very impressive and so much fun to help with.
All right. Well, we're almost down to the wire here. Do you guys have anything? I missed you. Okay.
I've got a happy buck because it's just so rare that your ear doctor gets a nose job. I hope you'll all recognize how much better his nose looks. Really good job. Well done.
Okay. All right, and I have one. Katrina must have visited the ladies' room, but it's because of Katrina. She is the oldest of four. She is the most organized. She is the most practical. And she has managed to set up house in 3 different countries. So it's always a pleasure to spend time with her.
All right, and I have two. One, of course, is for Mark and John, and just many thanks for including Rotary Club of Centennial in what you're doing, because that's all good. We're just so excited to have that project here, and you have our full support in anything that you need. So thank you for that. And then my next $1 is for our guest, our speaker, and our guest. So thank you to both of you for coming. Look forward to working with you, Will, in fundraising. And thanks to Deb for kind of stepping outside the fundraising box and looking at different ways for fundraising. So, right, moving on. Speaker. Now, since we have a little change in program, Cheryl, do you want to come and give us a rundown of our new speaker today?
Our new speaker, yes. Thank you so much, Penny. And her name is Penny Nissan.
Nissen. I'm sorry. She has been the Director of Education for the Mizel Museum in Denver, Colorado for the past 5 years. She works as an educator for programs and has taken on various roles of the museum for the past 19 years. Teaching about empathy and the Golden Rule continue to drive her involvement in education. She interacts with principals, teachers, and staff in schools and organizational leaders across the state. Her professional responsibilities include attendance at meetings and workshops for organizations such as the Scientific and Cultural Collaborative, Jewish Colorado, Colorado Holocaust Education, Jewish Educators Council, and the Council of American Jewish Museums. And so we're very grateful that you were able to come in at the last minute and be our guest speaker. Thank you.
So as stated, my name is Penny Nissen, and I am the Director of Education for the Mizel Museum, Denver's only museum that addresses today's social justice issues through the lens of Jewish history and values. We are located in Denver, just north of George Washington High School. We invite you to visit the museum and see our core exhibit, 4,000-Year Road Trip, Gathering Sparks. Our numerous education programs are presented to schools and groups and include exhibits, films, music, and storytelling. The Mizel Museum is not just a museum, it's a center for cross-cultural learning. We encourage people of all ages and backgrounds to celebrate diversity and equality and to combat discrimination and hatred. One of the ways we achieve our mission is by addressing anti-Semitism and racism through the lessons of the Holocaust. During the Holocaust, also known as the Shoah, which means catastrophe, 6 million Jewish people and 5 million others were murdered in a systematic genocide perpetrated by Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. The subject of the Holocaust is complex and difficult to grasp. It is the most studied event in human history. The Holocaust cannot properly be likened to any recurring event, and new information about it continues to be revealed. Eyewitnesses are growing fewer at an alarming rate. We are documenting their stories and looking at ways to increase the opportunities for them to share their experiences with others for as long as possible. Every day there are complex issues in our world that are troubling. Violent events and threats are common to see in the news. There is data showing a dramatic increase in anti-Semitic incidents, meaning threats against Jews, in the last few years, including physical assaults and deaths. As we mourn their loss and the loss of other innocent lives to violence, we ask ourselves, how does history show us how harmful hatred against people can be, and what actions can we ourselves take to help prevent such tragedies? Utilizing teaching artists, talented professionals of all types, and everyday people whose passion and commitment is about making the world a better place is a necessary step towards repair the world, known in Jewish culture as Tikkun Olam. The very essence of the Torah, or 5 books of Moses, teaches about the Golden Rule: treat others as we ourselves want to be treated. Today, I'm delighted to be here with you. We believe a partnership with Rotary clubs is a fit. On your side is active service. On our side, we have meaningful education programs that celebrate evolving cultures and diversity while teaching about traditions and history. A small first step could lead to new endeavors that benefit our communities. Thanks for the opportunity to speak with you. I will now give you a chance to ask questions and perhaps give you more details about our programs. Now, one of the things I want to clear up is actually who Mizel Museum is. Has anybody ever gone to the museum in Denver? Oh, great. So we are part of Mizel Institute, which is the overseer of the CEL, the Counterterrorism Education Learning Lab, which is downtown, just across from the Denver Art Museum on 13th and Broadway. That organization is responsible for CAP programs, community awareness programs that teach people how to be mindful when they go to events about their own security and the security of others. Also, we do the 9/11 Memorial, which is, and I wrote down the speakers this year are panelist General Stanley McChrystal, who is a 4-star Army general, Ed Royce, who has 20-plus years experience in foreign affairs, and the moderator is going to be Tom Sanderson. That event is going to be at Ellie Calkins. So the CEL does events and programs, training for Boy Scouts and such about security. On the Mizel Museum side, we've been around, I think the CEL's been around for maybe 13 years now, and they are doing a redesign of the exhibit. And museum side, I've been with Mizel Museum in different capacities for 24 years. Why? It's because I am in a position of understanding my own history, of being outcast. My relatives, my little grandfather and grandmother were 5 feet tall, hence my size. And they saw that in Poland, in Lodz, Poland, society just in general was unkind to Jews. And they didn't want to raise a family there. So my grandfather was brave enough to go to Argentina, then they went to Mexico, and then they settled via Juarez, El Paso, Pueblo, Denver. Their bravery allowed me to live, because my mother's going to be 90 years old in November, and she was the same age as Anne Frank. And so I never got that connection, but my own personal history has driven my desire to learn as much as I can about my own people, Jewish people, but also the picture of a history of being persecuted. So my work at Mizel Museum has driven my role as a speaker for social justice for all people. The golden rule is something that I've learned all along, is 3 little words can drive everyone's choices to be respectful of other people. And just because I'm Jewish, somebody might make some kind of assumption about me. So Mizel Museum's core exhibit teaches about the universal values we all should understand, that it isn't just about one group's history, it's about how we can connect to each other and give and what we owe to each other, a level of human dignity just because we're human beings. So we teach Jewish history, but we look at all the installations in the museum from really preschool age all the way to adults, to look at, okay, this might be a story we tell based on a myth, based on a legend, or exchange of information. This exists in a book that's being taught through different interpretations. There's a famous joke, 2 Jews, 3 opinions. We're supposed to analyze this book called a Bible to learn the lessons. So for example, if we go to Noah's Ark, we look at a story of a great flood that was supposed to happen. Well, we have great floods today. We look at Noah assigned a job, and he's supposed to build an ark, and all the animals were supposed to come to it, the species of animals, to preserve those animals so when the flood waters receded, the world could start again. So Noah had this job. Well, the first lesson we learn from Noah's Ark is, if you're given a job, you better build a boat that will float. If it has even one hole in it, it might sink. So that's a lesson in life to be learned. Now, back to the golden rule. All the animals were put on the ark. How are we doing with that? Well, if there's a million animals on the endangered species list, what does that say to human beings and the arrogance by which we operate and take over their habitats? Okay, that is something that's a problem that we as individuals might have a passion to take care of. Then we have the planet itself, the oceans, the 5 oceans. How are we doing? Well, we have an island the size of Texas, how deep we don't even know, that is growing because of our trash. So the golden rule, bless you, can apply to every choice we make in life. But who's teaching that? What I have learned over the many years at Mizel Museum is that the history has a legitimate lesson to teach. And we can't deny history. We need to talk about it and analyze what are the issues that we keep repeating. What are the stories that we can learn from? Violence against people, disrespect of our planet. When do we decide to be leaders in our own way to repair the world? That concept of tikkun olam. So Mizel Museum is a source of information about Jewish history, but it's also the story about human dignity. If somebody is considered outcast and less valued as a human being than other people based on assumptions, misinformation, who's going to reverse that trend? You know, I see a lot of people walking their dogs looking at their phones. I saw a woman with her little 2-year-old in a radio flower wagon in a medical building, and she was looking at her phone and the little 2-year-old was looking at their phone. No. You know, what we're doing is we're creating a different way of getting information, but we don't teach kids how to analyze that information and whether it's true or not. So the big picture is, how can Mizel Museum, and I've thought about, okay, Rotary clubs, you're in active service. You're out there raising money and being actively engaged in communities in need. How can a Mizel Museum, a small museum with a really big heart, partner with organizations so we can provide education that helps kids understand that you have to live your life yourself. Nobody can do it for you. You're responsible for you. But give them some tools to encourage them to be leaders where they stand, that they're capable of doing great things. Jewish people are only 1/5 of 1% of the human population on this planet, and yet are responsible for 14% of all Nobel Prizes ever awarded in the world. Education is key to hopefully ensuring a future for humanity, because it's in question right now. We are so arrogant as human beings. Let's come to the middle. Let's not be right or left. Let's find middle ground and start being innovative about partnerships that drive repair of this world. Thank you. So we have films. Let me just say, and then I'll open it up to questions. The past 2 years, we really have focused on giving opportunities to Holocaust survivors to go out and speak. So Eyewitness to History, Living Lessons of the Holocaust, and films focus on the education about the Holocaust. So here's the book of Jack Adler. Do you know Jack Adler, who lives in Lone Tree? We did a film at Lone Tree Arts Center last year featuring Jack. He goes out and speaks. He was at the Center for American Values in Pueblo. He's an amazing guy. If you have a chance to hear him speak, and I will leave my business cards, there's lots of opportunities to hear him. He wrote a book, Why? A Holocaust Narrative. A film is based on his life. We featured the film. It's called Surviving Skokie. Paula Berger, she was one of 2 children who survived in the survived in the forest with the Belski partisan fighters in Poland. Her story is featured in this book. She also spoke, and I will tell you that she is a miracle in very many ways. She had a terrible accident back in March. She just went home last week. She is a miracle. She really did not want to leave this earth, and she did everything she could to survive a very, very tremendous accident. She's a mentor and hero, as are Holocaust survivors that have, it seems to me, a second soul. I also want to talk about Bridges of Cultural Understanding. That is 2 freestanding exhibits. One focuses on rites of passage ceremonies, and one focuses on ceremonies and festivals. They are freestanding exhibits that go into schools, and they focus on objects of the 2 subjects I mentioned, and the cultures are African, Asian, Hispanic, Jewish, Native American, and Muslim Middle Eastern. And they teach kids of all ages right in schools about how more alike we are than we are different. So we have those programs that goes into schools. We also have films. We have exhibits of different types, and also storytelling. All of these feature the values of human dignity and social justice in different ways, and are driven by this. This is a Golden Rule marble. It was given, it is a collector's item. It was given to by the people who started in early 1900s Samsonite Luggage Corporation here in Colorado. It was the 5 Schrader brothers, and it has a little band around it, and it says, "Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you." And this object was given to people associated with Samsonite Luggage Corporation, which was named for the Bible hero Samson, who in the Bible, he spoke for justice and he was physically strong. The leaders of the company, the Schrader brothers, had knowledge of the Torah, and they figured that if everybody in the company treated each other with equal respect, the company would thrive. And it did. When it was sold many years ago, it was one of the most successful in the world. So however we relate to each other, we have to be diverse. We don't want to be clones of each other. Diversity is a fact of life, and yet we devalue people all the time by our choices. So the programs that we would provide, and in partnership in any way we can with your organization, this is what would drive a message for anybody that we would program with, is that the symbols, does anybody know the symbol of Lady Justice? We use the aesthetic education to tell the story. Lady Justice has a blindfold on. Has anybody seen the image on a dollar? It's got a blindfold. Why does she wear the blindfold? Blind. Right. Justice is blind. And then she has what in her hands? Scales. Balance. Our world is like this right now. We as individuals can tip the scales of justice to bring our world back to equality. And then she's got what else? She's got a sword, and it's facing down. Not this way, down, because you have to fight for what's right in this world. So with our complex issues, it's simple things. You don't need a PhD to be respectful of other people. So those simple messages is something that has driven my work for all these years, and more is needed. And I know I'm sort of preaching to the choir here because you're doing the work with Rotary clubs. So I would like for us to be a new experiment. How can people from all different communities partner with organizations in a way that hasn't been done before? I will take questions. Yes?
if I went to the museum, am I going to see stuff, hear stuff? And if I'm going to see or hear things, what kind, are these just historical artifacts? Are they symbols, or is it paintings?
So it's media of all kinds. It's digital imagery, and I did bring a PowerPoint to show you some of the art. The installations that present Jewish history were built by Scott Lyon, a local artist who is not Jewish, and he created installations that really relate to all people. The Tree of Life, suitcases about our journey, a beautiful way of presenting Noah's Ark in a way where actually the little boat thing that he built has holes in it, so we can talk about that. Sands of Time, a mural of different holidays, festivals, and commemorations. It's all very artful, not intimidating, really, really special. And I have my cards. Go online. You can see some images of the exhibit. You can look at the different programs, and all of what we do at Mizel Museum is presented on our website. We also have, we're stewards of Bobby R. Park. Has anybody ever heard of Bobby R. Park? Or okay, has anybody ever been to the park? Oh, very good. Well, a lot of people don't know that it's the only park in the United States that actually is a memorial to the massacre of Babi Yar, where 200,000 Jews, Roma, and others were rounded up outside of Kiev in the Ukraine between 1941 and 1943, and massacred in a ravine. And Babi Yar is the memorial. It's a memorial park with 6 different elements where you walk around a path system that's a modified Star of David from an aerial view, and the stops along the way memorialize the Holocaust and this genocide. This is a beautiful park. We do tours of the park for groups, and it is a really great example of how memorials serve to educate and to heal and honor at the same time. So we have Babi Yar Memorial comes up in September. I think this year it's Sunday, September 22nd. It is a memorial that attracts about 200 people from different aspects of our community, and it is an honoring memorial of that massacre. The Holocaust is a subject that is something that we're trying to get all states a mandate for education. Holocaust is losing its grip on education. It's really something that people are either confused about, don't know a lot about, and it happened only less than 75 years ago. There are genocides in this world. This is about current events. So we're really we don't try to focus just on Jewish history, but about the human story. And that is something that's really, really important to us. So Jewish, it's not about that. It is about social justice. Yes?
Could you tell us the hours if there's a fee to get in the museum?
So there is a fee. It's $5 for seniors and $8 for adults. If you come in the door, if you want to since you and I are now friends, take my card and call me personally and schedule with me. It is by appointment only because we have a small staff. Sometimes we're at programs or meetings and we can't just do walk-ups because we might not be at the museum at that time. So schedule an appointment with me. I would be really, really honored if you scheduled a visit to the museum as a group field trip. And I can walk you around and explain a little bit more about how the exhibit functions and drives really education about Judaism, but more importantly about what is different, what is outcast, what are these judgments people make. Yeah.
Is it at all something for children? And
Absolutely.
So what ages?
All ages.
Education and literacy is very important for Rotary, and congratulations for what you're doing. It's really important. I believe you're pretty busy right now. As you said, there's a lot of stuff to do. So do you have any idea as to what specific programs we could partner with in terms of our Rotary Club with the museum to bring this type of literacy education?
So I think that's what we need to explore, is how we would be a fit. So we have set programs that we present to the community and around the state. I mean, we really go to remote locations, and we have schools from Manzanola and Dacona coming to Mizel Museum from all over. We really have quite a far reach. But this is something that I feel should be explored in a way that hasn't been done before. Literacy is something we have. English second language learners that come into the museum, and now with cell phones they can look at the text panels in the museum and interpret from Spanish to English or any language to English. We sort of work together to explain. This isn't high level stuff. This is really basic information about the human stories. So what's relatable? Slavery. You know, we can talk about it from the Jewish perspective, slaves in Egypt, or we can talk about it in modern. We have a cross between I-25 and I-70 that brings sex slaves to Colorado for the stock show, for athletic events. This happens all over the country. A lot of people are not aware of the human trafficking issues that exist in America today. So you take any goal that you would have and think creatively outside the box. I think that this partnership could grow in a way that we might not expect. And I'm really hoping that we can have another conversation about what it would look like and how we can partner for our community.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. And I have these. As many of the people here know, that is one of my passions, is peace and diversity, racism, all of that. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, usually your job's not done yet. So usually we have a book plate that has your name and your presentation that we then put into a small library that we support. However, because of the quick change in our presentation, we did not have that made for you today, but we will get one over for you. But just know that one is going to be represented in a book for you. And then Blue Marble, John or Tom or whoever, So your last job here is to pick a ticket and call a number, and this person will win $10 for lunch and then be able to draw 2 marbles out of that bag. If they draw the blue marble, they win the pot. 1 ticket. Just read the last 3.
Okay, 426.
Yes. All right, and
the lady in red. Here's your lucky ticket.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Oh, I just saw that. That's full clear.
Hey, better luck next time.
Wow,
All
the
right.
marble really has a presence at Rotary Club. See, we're meant to be.
Tom had something quickly before we...
Yeah, just a quick clarification on the drug drop event. There is a drug event later, but there is not a shredding event happening out there. They are not doing the shredding out there.
Okay.
Thank you.
So for all we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?